So this is me continuing the exposition on the various designs that I came up with that are listed in the essay My Resume, an Offering for You, Wolf Girl. And this is just general utilities for rural communities, permaculture communities, especially cold climates. This next one's called the wheel barrel, and it's a reinvention of the wheel. I do that sometimes. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut thin branches, just thin little ones, straight, and you split them down the middle. Use what's called a riving break. To riven wood is when you split it down the middle. Fresh green wood split, Riven. So we're going to split these pieces of wood, and then we're going to wrap them into hoops and tie them off. So we got a set of big hoops. There's a few of them, and then smaller hoops that are going to go inside. And with each of these big hoops and small hoops, we're going to take twine and tie it to the rim of the big hoop, and then pull it across and tie it to the side of the small hoop, and then out to the edge of the big hoop again. And we make a star pattern like that. And once you've tied off that twine nice and tight, then the inner hoop is held in place by the twine to the bigger hoop, kind of like the spokes on a bike wheel. So now we got these discs with a big hoop and a little hoop, and another disc with a big hoop and a little hoop in a row. We're going to stack them all together, and we're going to weave more riven branches over, under, through those spaces. Just like you're weaving a basket, but you're weaving straight across instead of weaving around the basket. So you weave it across on all the slats, alternating up and down for each slat, just the same way you would with cloth. And you tie them off. Now you've got a structure that's held together, and it's got this row of inner circles, hoops. You're going to put a sheath inside that inner circle section. You can just wrap birch bark if you need to. And that sheath is now your compartment. So you've got a set of inner tubes that are smaller than the outer tubes, and the inner tubes have a sheath that you can pile things inside. So if you're looking at it from the side, you got the big hoop, you got the little hoop, and the sheath around, and you shove stuff in there. Cap the ends. Now, when you need to roll this large barrel shape up a hill, you're pushing on the outside of the top of it, but the weight is in the center. So it's like having a crowbar that's this long with the weight halfway up. So you get twice the leverage for rolling uphill. It's twice as easy to roll uphill. Same when it's rolling downhill, so it's easy to stop. And in general, this is better than just shoving stuff in a barrel and rolling it, because if you have a barrel and stuff sitting at the bottom and you try and roll it, you're lifting it and then it flops. That's a lot of wasted energy. You're going to have a much harder time rolling a barrel with stuff in it compared to rolling a wheel barrel. And you can also string a number of these wheel barrels in a row, one after another, just with a clay ball and socket joint on each side of the barrel and a tracer harness. So now it's going to roll as a train, and you can unhook each barrel to roll them up and down hills separately. So when you're on a flat ground, you got a bunch of barrels in a row, you're pulling all of them, and then when you get to a hill, you just roll each barrel separately. The main advantages of the wheelbarrow are for rough terrain. If you are on muddy or gravelly ground or snowy ground, or there's lots of obstructions and roots, a barrel shape is going to put all the pressure across the entire base surface. And so it doesn't sink into the mud and get stuck. It doesn't sink into the snow. It's able to kind of bumble over obstructions. So if you're moving a lot of material over rough terrain, especially in wintertime, I highly recommend wheelbarrows. This is not a replacement for a car. Don't expect a replacement for a car. This is for when you're off the road and you need to build some way to carry a lot of material a number of miles, especially in rough terrain. And that's also, I wrote about that idea plus a few others, including the Scotch candle, which is pretty cool, in another essay called If You Want to Steal My Ideas. So you can always just Google Anthony Repetto and the title of the essay and pull it up. Scotch candle, it would require a lot more equipment to manufacture, especially drilling out the core of the branch. But it gives you some pretty cool utilities. Scotch candle is pretty fun. So there you go.